She flinched when his hand reached for her face, and that small movement, that instinctive recoil, made Jinwoo's jaw clench so hard she heard his teeth grind. His fingers stopped mid-air, trembling before falling to his side like dead weight. "Don't," Amara whispered, her dark skin glistening with tears under the dim gallery lights. "Don't touch me like you still have the right." His eyes, those cold, calculating eyes that had watched men beg for their lives, went completely hollow. "The right?" His voice dropped to something dangerous. "Amara, I gave you everything." "Everything except the truth." Her voice cracked. You knew I slept with Marcus, and you said nothing. For 3 months, Jinwoo. 3 months." The silence stretched like broken glass. "I let it happen," he said finally, and the words landed like an execution sentence. "I let him touch you. I watched the hotel security footage. I sat in my car outside his apartment. I knew every single time." Amara's knees buckled. "Why? Why would you—" "Because you needed to realize he could never give you what I can." Jinwoo stepped closer, and this time she didn't flinch. She couldn't move at all. "And when you finally understood that, when you came back to our bed smelling like his cologne and still reached for me in your sleep, that's when I knew you were always mine." Everything went silent. "You're insane," she breathed. "No, baby." His thumb brushed away her tears, and she hated how her body leaned into it. "I'm just the only man who knows exactly how to keep you." Present day, 9:47 p.m., the Maxwell Contemporary Art Gallery stood like a glass cathedral in downtown Seoul, and tonight it was Amara's kingdom. Her heels clicked against the marble floors as she moved between installations, her natural hair swept into an elegant updo, her burgundy dress clinging to curves that had made Jinwoo worship and Marcus stumble over his words. "Girl, you need to breathe," Destiny said, appearing beside her with 2 glasses of champagne. Her best friend since their Howard University days looked stunning in emerald green, her locks adorned with gold cuffs. "You've been vibrating with anxiety all night." Amara took the glass with shaking hands. "He's coming tonight." "Marcus or Jinwoo?" "Both." Destiny's eyes widened. "Oh, fuck no. Amara, why would you—" "The exhibition is the biggest of my career, Des. I can't uninvite the man who owns half the art world in Asia." Amara downed the champagne in one gulp. "Even if that man is my husband who apparently gets off on watching me cheat on him." The words still felt unreal. 6 hours ago, she'd confronted Jinwoo in his office at the Viper's Den, the exclusive club that fronted his actual business empire. 6 hours ago, her entire marriage had revealed itself as a psychological game she'd been losing from the start. And Marcus is the one who told me the truth. Amara's voice went hollow. He said Jinwoo approached him at a gallery opening in New York, told him exactly how to seduce me, paid him $50,000 to make me fall for him. Destiny grabbed her arm. "That's not Amara, that's psychotic. That's Jinwoo." She remembered their first meeting so clearly it hurt. Flashback. 18 months ago. New York City. The Metropolitan Museum's rooftop garden glittered with Manhattan's elite, but Amara only had eyes for the Kehinde Wiley painting she'd helped acquire. She stood before it, notebook in hand, completely absorbed in documenting the brushwork. You see the resistance in the subject's posture. The voice came from behind her, deep, accented, lethal in its calm. She turned and forgot how to breathe. He was beautiful in that dangerous way, all sharp cheekbones and fox-like eyes, his black suit tailored so precisely it looked like a second skin. Korean, probably early 30s, with silver rings on his fingers that caught the light like warnings. "I see a king reclaiming his narrative," Amara replied, recovering. "Wiley paints black excellence in the language of old masters. It's revolutionary." His smile was slow, predatory. "You're Dr. Amara Chen, the curator who turned down the Guggenheim to work independent." "And you are?" "Interested." He moved beside her, close enough that she caught his scent. something expensive and dark. Park Jinwoo, I own several galleries in Seoul, and I think you belong in my city." She laughed. "That's quite an assumption." "I don't assume." His eyes locked onto hers. "I observe, I calculate, and I take what I want, and I want you curating my new contemporary space." "I'm not for sale, Mr. Park." "Everyone's for sale, Dr. Chen." He handed her a black card with silver lettering. "The question is whether the price is money, power, or purpose. I'm offering you all three." She should have run, should have recognized the obsession already blooming in his gaze. Instead, she took the card. 3 weeks later, she was on a plane to Seoul. 2 months after that, Jinwoo proposed with a diamond the size of her thumbnail and a promise to give her everything she'd ever wanted. And he had. The gallery, the prestige, the access to art collections that made her weep. He'd also given her a marriage that felt like a beautiful cage, where she was worshipped and studied in equal measure. Back to present, 10:15 p.m. "Dr. Chen, there's someone asking for you." Amara turned to find her assistant, Ji-hoon, looking nervous. Behind him stood Marcus Williams, 6'3" of smooth brown skin and apologetic eyes, his beard freshly trimmed, wearing the navy suit she'd once told him made him look like a king. Her heart lurched. Amara. He said her name like a prayer and a plea. "Can we talk, please?" Destiny stepped between them immediately. "Absolutely the fuck not. You have seconds to exit before I make a scene, and you know I will." "Des, it's okay." Amara touched her friend's arm. 5 minutes. They walked to the gallery's private viewing room, away from the crowd. The moment the door closed, Marcus reached for her hands. "I'm so sorry," he started. "I never should have. God, Amara, I fell in love with you. That wasn't supposed to happen." "But you took his money?" Her voice was ice. "You let him use you as a weapon against me." "I didn't know what he was." Marcus's voice cracked. "I thought he was just a jealous husband setting a trap. I didn't know he wanted you to sleep with me, that he'd encourage it just to prove some sick point about ownership." Amara pulled her hands away. "You should have told me the moment he approached you." I know. He dragged his hands over his face. "But I was broke, Amara. My gallery in Harlem was closing. $50,000 meant survival. And he said all I had to do was flirt with you at that art fair in Hong Kong. I didn't think you'd fall for it?" She laughed bitterly. "Fall for you? Let you touch me, kiss me, fuck me in hotel rooms while my husband tracked every moment? I wanted to tell you so many times." "But you didn't." She turned toward the door. "You kept taking his money and my body and lying." "I love you," Marcus said desperately. "That part was real, is real. Leave him, Amara. Come back to New York with me. We can start over." The door opened before she could respond. Jinwoo stood in the entrance, and the temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees. He wore all black, turtleneck, slacks, leather gloves, and looked like death incarnate. 2 men flanked him, security she recognized from the Viper's Den. "Marcus." Jinwoo's voice was pleasant, conversational. "I don't remember inviting you to my wife's exhibition." "Your wife?" Marcus stepped forward. "You don't treat her like a wife. You treat her like property." Interesting observation from the man I paid to fuck her. Jinwoo moved into the room with that liquid grace that made Amara's stomach flip. "Tell me, did you earn your money? Was she worth $50,000? Because I'm considering asking for a refund." "Jinwoo, stop." Amara's voice shook. He ignored her completely. "You see, Marcus, I've built my empire on understanding value. And my wife? She's priceless. Which is why I needed her to understand that men like you are worthless." Marcus lunged. He didn't make it 2 steps before Jinwoo's security had him pinned against the wall, one guard's forearm across his throat. "Don't." Jinwoo didn't even look at them. His eyes were on Amara, dark and possessive. "He's not worth catching a charge. And you—" He moved toward her slowly. "Have an exhibition to run." I'm done running anything for you, Amara said. No, you're not. He was close now, so close she could see the exhaustion hidden under his controlled expression. You're angry. You're hurt. But you're not done. Because if you were, you wouldn't be shaking right now, and it wouldn't be from fear. He was right. God help her, he was right. Let him go, Jinwoo said quietly, and Marcus dropped to the floor, gasping. Get out. If I see you within 100 feet of my wife again, I'll make sure the only gallery showing your work is a morgue. Marcus looked at Amara one last time, something breaking in his expression, then stumbled out. The guards left too, closing the door. Silence. You humiliated me, Amara whispered. You turned my heart into a game. I showed you the truth. Jinwoo's hand cupped her face, and this time she didn't flinch. Every man who wants you will disappoint you. Every man but me. That's not love. That's control. In my world, they're the same thing. His thumb traced her bottom lip. And you knew what I was when you married me. You knew I was dangerous. I didn't know you were cruel. Something flickered in his eyes. Pain, maybe, or regret. I've done terrible things to protect you, to keep you, and I'd do them all again. I want a divorce. The words hung between them like a guillotine blade. Jinwoo's hand dropped. For the first time since she'd known him, his expression went completely unguarded, vulnerable, devastated, young. No, he said simply. You don't get to decide. I'm not letting you go. His voice turned desperate. Hate me. Scream at me. Fuck other men if that's what you need. But I will never sign divorce papers. Never. Then you'll lose me anyway. She walked out, leaving him standing alone in the viewing room, and tried to ignore the sound of something shattering behind her. 2 weeks later, Amara moved through her days like a ghost. She'd taken a suite at the Park Hyatt, refusing to return to the penthouse she'd shared with Jinwoo. Destiny had temporarily relocated from New York, appointed herself bodyguard and therapist, and spent her evenings trying to convince Amara to eat. You've lost weight, Destiny said, watching her push around room service pasta. He's not worth starving over. I'm not starving over him. Amara set down her fork. I'm trying to figure out how I didn't see it. The manipulation, the control. How did I become that woman? Because he's good at what he does. Destiny's voice gentled. Amara, from what you've told me, Jinwoo didn't just manipulate you. He studied you, learned your weaknesses, your desires, and built himself into your perfect match. That's terrifying. That's sociopathic. Destiny paused. But it's also, I don't know, there's something in the way you talk about him. Even now, you're not just angry, you're hurt, like you lost something real. Amara's phone buzzed. Another message from Jinwoo. She'd stopped reading them after the first 50. Jinwoo, I see you're eating at the hotel again. The pasta is mediocre. I've sent something better. A knock at the door. Amara opened it to find a hotel attendant with an elaborate Korean meal spread across multiple containers. Galbijjim, japchae, kimchi, all her favorites. The note read, You prefer your meat braised for exactly 4 hours. I remember. He's insane, Amara said, but she was already opening containers. Destiny raised an eyebrow. Insane or devoted? Both can be true. 3 days later, gallery opening. The new installation was a success, a powerful collection on diasporic identity that had art critics talking. Amara smiled through congratulations, accepted praise, and tried not to notice Jinwoo watching from the second-floor balcony. He'd been there every night, never approaching, just present. A dark shadow she couldn't escape. Dr. Chen. A young man appeared at her elbow, Korean, expensively dressed. My name is Kang Min-jun. I'm interested in acquiring the centerpiece installation. They talked price and logistics, and Amara found herself relaxing. Min-jun was charming, educated, passionate about art. Normal. "Would you have dinner with me?" he asked as the gallery emptied. To discuss the acquisition further. She was about to decline when Destiny appeared, practically pushing her forward. She'd love to. Tomorrow night. Text her the details. "Des, you need to live, Amara. One dinner won't kill you." But it might, because Jinwoo was descending the stairs like an avenging angel, and the look on his face promised murder. Minjun noticed. "Is that Park Jinwoo?" "My husband," Amara said tightly. "Oh." Minjun paled. "I didn't realize. I should go." "Smart man," Jinwoo said, appearing beside them. His hand settled on Amara's lower back, possessive and warm. "Minjun, tell your father I appreciated his contribution to the last shipment. But if you approach my wife again, I'll make sure your family's pharmaceutical company faces some unfortunate regulatory scrutiny." Minjun practically ran. Amara spun on Jinwoo. "You can't keep doing this." "Doing what? Protecting what's mine. I'm not yours anymore." "Then why do you still wear your ring?" He grabbed her left hand where the diamond still sat. "Why haven't you moved out of the hotel into an apartment? Why do you eat every meal I send and read every message even though you don't respond?" Because she was weak. Because part of her still craved him despite everything. "I hate you," she whispered. "No?" His forehead pressed against hers. "You hate that you don't." Destiny cleared her throat loudly. "Okay, this is my cue to leave before y'all start tearing each other's clothes off. Amara, I'll be at the hotel bar." They stood alone in the empty gallery, surrounded by art about identity and belonging, and Amara felt more lost than ever. "Come home," Jinwoo said quietly. "Please. I can't trust you." "Then learn again." His hand cupped her face. "I'll be whatever you need. Distant, present, gone. Just don't leave Seoul. Don't leave me." "You don't deserve?" His kiss swallowed her words. Desperate, hungry, devastating. His hands tangled in her hair, pulling her closer, and she melted against him because her body was a traitor and her heart was a fool. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Jin Woo's eyes were wet. "I love you," he said. "I've loved you since I saw you at the Met, completely absorbed in art like the rest of the world didn't exist. I've loved you through every moment of our marriage, even the moments I orchestrated and ruined, and I will love you through whatever punishment you decide I deserve." "Love isn't supposed to hurt like this." "Ours does." He kissed her forehead. "Because we're both too stubborn and too damaged to do it any other way." She wanted to argue, to push him away, to run. Instead, she let him hold her while she cried. 1 week later, the Viper's Den. Destiny dragged Amara to the club despite her protests. "You need to see your husband's world, really see it. Make an informed decision." The Viper's Den was everything Amara had avoided. Dark, sensual, dangerous, red velvet and black leather, top-shelf liquor, and beautiful people moving through shadows. Jinwoo's empire in physical form. "He's upstairs," Destiny said, somehow having learned the club's geography. "In the private office. And before you ask, yes, I've been doing research." "Why?" "Because you're my girl, and I need to know if your husband is just controlling or actually criminal." Destiny's expression went serious. "Amara, he's connected to things, the kind of things that get people disappeared." "I know." "Do you?" "Because knowing abstractly and seeing concretely are different." They moved through the crowd toward the VIP section. Guards tried to stop them, but one look at Amara's face, and presumably recognition, had them stepping aside. The private floor was quieter, elegant. Through a glass wall, Amara could see Jin Woo in his office with 3 men. The conversation looked intense. Then one of the men pulled a gun. Amara's scream was silent, locked in her throat. Jin Woo moved like liquid death. He disarmed the man in 2 moves, had him on the ground in 3, and pressed the gun against his temple before Amara could process what was happening. "Wrong answer," Jin Woo said calmly. "I asked for my shipment. You brought me excuses and a weapon. Now you'll bring me neither. Please. The gunshot made Amara jump, but Jinwoo hadn't fired. He just cocked the gun, letting the man hear his potential death. Last chance. Where's my shipment? The man babbled an address. Jinwoo stood, smoothing his suit jacket like he hadn't just threatened someone's life, and handed the gun to one of his guards. Dispose of him. Not permanently. I'm feeling generous. Just make sure he understands the cost of wasting my time. That's when Jinwoo looked up and saw Amara through the glass. Everything in his expression shattered. He was through the door in seconds. What are you doing here? She couldn't speak, couldn't process the violence she'd just witnessed. Amara, look at me. His hands framed her face. Baby, look at me. You almost killed him. He pulled a weapon in my office. I responded appropriately. Appropriately? Her voice rose. That's not appropriate. That's insane. That's my world. Jinwoo's voice went hard. The world I've kept you sheltered from. The world I've built to give you safety and luxury and freedom to chase your dreams. You think galleries and art collections fund themselves? You think your reputation appeared from nothing? You earned your talent and your expertise. He wasn't yelling, but his intensity burned. I earned you the opportunities to showcase them. Every door that opened, every collection that became available, every critic who praised your work, I paved that road with blood and money and violence. Amara stepped back. I never asked for that. You didn't have to. Protecting you, elevating you, worshiping you, that's what I do. That's who I am. His hands dropped. And if you can't accept that, then you're right. We're done. He walked back into his office and closed the door. Destiny grabbed Amara's arm. Let's go. But Amara stood frozen, watching Jinwoo through the glass. He'd braced his hands on his desk, head bowed, shoulders tight. Even from a distance, she could see him shaking. He loves you, Destiny said quietly. In his completely fucked up way, he genuinely loves you. That doesn't make it okay. No, but it makes it real. That night, 2:47 a.m. Amara couldn't sleep. She kept seeing Jinwoo's face when he'd seen her witness his violence, the devastation, the resignation, the love. Her phone buzzed. Jinwoo, I've transferred $5 million to your personal account. It's yours, no strings. Enough to start over anywhere in the world. I won't fight the divorce anymore. I'm sorry I wasn't the man you needed. She read it 17 times. Then she was getting dressed, calling a car, heading to the penthouse. The security let her up without question. The apartment was dark except for ambient city lights. She found Jinwoo on the balcony, drink in hand, looking small in a way he never did. You came. He didn't turn around. You don't get to make this easy. Amara's voice shook. You don't get to play noble and broken and let me go. I'm not playing. I'm giving you what you want. What I want. She grabbed his arm, forcing him to face her. I want my husband to be honest. I want to understand why you manipulated me. I want to know if any of it was real. All of it was real. His eyes were red-rimmed. Every moment, every touch, every time I said I loved you, real. The manipulation was just insurance. I knew you'd leave eventually. Everyone leaves. So I tried to engineer situations where you'd realize you needed me. That's not how love works. I don't know how love works. The confession tore out of him. I was raised by a father who showed affection with money and violence. I've built an empire where loyalty is bought and trust is a weakness. You're the first person I've ever... His voice cracked. You're the first person I've wanted to be better for, and I failed. Amara's anger warred with heartbreak. You paid someone to seduce me, Jinwoo. I know, and I've hated myself every day since. He sank onto the balcony chair. I watched you fall for him, knowing I'd caused it. Watched you smile at him the way you used to smile at me. And instead of stopping it, I let it continue because I was so sure you'd come back. that you'd realize he was shallow and I was substantial. You're sick. I'm obsessed." He looked up at her. "With you. Only you. An obsession doesn't follow rules or logic or decency." The city lights cast shadows across his face, and Amara saw him clearly for the first time. Not the controlled mafia boss or the calculated manipulator, but a broken man who'd never learned to love without possession. "I can't fix you," she said. "I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to save yourself, take the money, leave, forget I existed." "And if I can't forget?" His laugh was hollow. "Then we're both damned." Amara knelt in front of him, taking his face in her hands. "Tell me the truth, all of it. No games, no manipulation. Why did you choose me?" Jinwoo's hands covered hers. "Because you were the first person who looked at me and saw nothing. Not my reputation, not my money, not my danger. You saw a man interested in art, and I wanted to be that man, the one you saw, even if I had to destroy everything to keep you looking. That's not sustainable." "I know, but I didn't care. I still don't." His forehead pressed against hers. "I'd burn the whole world down if it meant keeping you warm." "That's not romantic, Jinwoo. That's terrifying." "I know." He was crying now, silent tears tracking down his face. "I know, and I can't change. I've tried. Every therapist I've paid, every book I've read, every promise I've made. I can't rewire 20 years of survival instincts. I can't stop seeing you as mine." "Then we're at an impasse." "Yes." They stayed like that, foreheads together, breathing the same air trapped between love and impossibility. "I should go," Amara whispered. "Please don't. Give me one reason to stay that isn't about you needing me." Jinwoo pulled back, looking at her with devastating clarity. "Because you need me too. Not the violence or the control, but the way I see you, your brilliance, your passion, your strength. Marcus saw a beautiful woman. I see a queen building empires, and you can't find that anywhere else." He was right. Damn him, he was right. "One chance," Amara said. "Therapy, real therapy, together, and complete honesty about your business, your past, everything. One lie, and I'm gone." "One chance," he agreed. She kissed him then, slow and deep and sad, a kiss that tasted like endings and beginnings tangled together. "Come to bed," he murmured against her lips. "We're not sleeping together." "Just sleep. Please, I haven't slept since you left." His bedroom was exactly as she remembered. Massive bed, silk sheets, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. She climbed in, still dressed, and Jinwoo wrapped around her from behind, his face buried in her neck. "I love you," he whispered. "I'll spend the rest of my life proving I can do it better." Amara threaded her fingers through his. "Don't make me regret this." "I won't, I swear." But promises were easy in the dark. Morning would test everything. Meanwhile, Destiny's stories while Amara navigated her complicated marriage. Destiny was having complications of her own. She'd met Yoon Tae-hyun at the hotel bar, tall, muscular, with a smile that could melt glaciers and dimples that should be illegal. He worked security for Jinwoo, of course, and had been assigned to watch over Destiny once Amara moved back to the penthouse. "I don't need a babysitter," Destiny said when he introduced himself. "Good. I'm not a babysitter. I'm a bodyguard." Tae-hyun's English was excellent, touched with an accent that made everything sound sensual. "And until Mrs. Park's situation stabilizes, you're a potential target." "Target for what?" "Jinwoo has enemies, people who'd love leverage against him. You're his wife's best friend. Do the math." Destiny did the math. The math involved a very attractive man following her everywhere. By the end of week 1, she was annoyed. By week 2, intrigued. By week 3, fantasizing about things that definitely violated professional boundaries. "You're staring," Tae-hyun said, not looking up from his phone. They were in her hotel room, Separate chairs, respectable distance, while he monitored security feeds. "You're stare-worthy." That got his attention. His eyes lifted, dark and amused. "Are you flirting with me, Ms. Williams?" Would that be a problem? Yes. But he was smiling. "I'm working." And when you're not working? Still a problem. You're leaving Seoul eventually. "I'm staying. Short-term interests aren't my style." Who said anything about short-term? The word surprised Destiny as much as him. Tae-hyun set down his phone. "You're serious?" "Maybe. I don't know." She stood, moving to the window. "Seoul's grown on me. The city, the energy, the very attractive bodyguards." He was behind her suddenly, close enough to feel his warmth. "Destiny." "Tae-hyun." "I don't do complicated." "Neither do I, so let's keep it simple." She turned, looking up at him. "Do you want me?" His jaw clenched. "Since the moment I met you." "Then take me." The kiss was explosive, all heat and hunger and pent-up tension. Tae-hyun lifted her easily, her legs wrapping around his waist, and carried her to the bed. "This is a bad idea," he said between kisses. "The best ones usually are." They fell into each other like drowning, and for the first time in months, Destiny felt completely alive. 2 months later, therapy was brutal. Dr. Sarah Kim, bilingual, brilliant, and unbothered by Jinwoo's reputation, systematically dismantled every defense he'd built. "You view love as ownership," Dr. Kim said during their 5th session. "Amara, you view love as freedom. These are incompatible unless one of you changes." "I'm trying," Jinwoo said tightly. "Trying isn't enough. You need to demonstrate change through action." Dr. Kim looked at Amara. "And you need to decide if his version of love, even reformed, is something you can live with." The question haunted Amara. Could she love a man whose instinct was possession? Could Jinwoo truly change, or would he always be the wolf in expensive clothing? "I've been offered a position," she said during dinner one night. They were eating at the penthouse, attempting normalcy, curating a major exhibition in London, 6 months. Jinwoo's fork paused halfway to his mouth. "London? It's the Tate Modern. It's huge for my career." "When?" "I'd need to start in 3 weeks." The silence stretched. Amara watched Jinwoo process, saw the instinct to control warring with his therapy lessons. "You should go," he said finally. "What?" "It's an incredible opportunity. You should go." His smile was strained but genuine. "I won't hold you back." "Jinwoo." "I mean it." He reached across the table, taking her hand. "I'll visit when I can. We'll make it work." Amara's chest tightened. This was growth. Real, painful growth. "Come with me," she said impulsively. "I can't leave Seoul for 6 months. The business—" "Then we're at the same impasse as always." "No." Jinwoo stood, moving around the table. "We're at a compromise. You go, build your career. I stay, handle my obligations, and we video call every day and count down until you're home." "That's not a marriage." "It's our marriage. Imperfect, complicated, but ours." She wanted to argue, but looking at him, at the effort in his eyes, the genuine support, she saw a man trying to love better. "Okay," she whispered. "We try." His relief was palpable. "We try." 2 weeks later, Emergency Amara was packing for London when the nausea hit. She'd been tired lately, emotional, her period 3 weeks late. She'd blamed stress. The pregnancy test she took in the penthouse bathroom told a different story. 2 pink lines. Oh my God. Her knees hit the marble floor. Oh my God. Jinwoo found her there 20 minutes later, still staring at the test. "Amara?" He dropped beside her. "What's wrong? Are you—" He saw the test. "Is that positive?" Her voice sounded far away. "I'm pregnant." His expression cycled through shock, joy, terror. "How? We've been careful, apparently not careful enough." She laughed, slightly hysterical. I'm supposed to leave for London in 10 days. I'm pregnant, and I don't know if I can do this." "Do what?" "Any of it." She stood, pacing. "Raise a child with a man whose business involves guns and threats. Bring a baby into this world where I'm not sure my marriage will survive. London, my career, how do I—" "Breathe." Jinwoo grabbed her shoulders gently. "Baby, breathe. We'll figure it out." "How? How do we figure this out?" "Together." His hand slid to her still flat stomach. "We're having a baby. That's terrifying and beautiful and ours. Everything else we'll handle as it comes." "I can't defer London. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." "Then don't defer it. Go. I'll fly out every other week. We'll make it work." "With a baby?" "With our baby." He pulled her close. "Amara, I know I've been a terrible husband in so many ways. Let me be a better father. Let me prove I can protect and provide without controlling." She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Me too." He kissed her forehead. "But I'm more excited than scared. We're having a baby." The joy in his voice was infectious. Amara felt her own fear transform into something warmer. Hope, maybe. Possibility. "We need to tell Destiny. She already knows." Amara pulled back. "What?" "She's outside the bedroom with Taehyun. They heard you crying and broke protocol." Jinwoo smiled. "Wanna let them in?" The door opened before Amara could respond, and Destiny rushed in, Taehyun close behind. "Oh my God! Oh my God!" Destiny grabbed Amara in a crushing hug. "You're pregnant! I'm gonna be an auntie." "You're not supposed to know yet." "Walls are thin. Also, I've been suspicious for weeks. You stopped drinking, you're always tired, and you cried at a commercial about puppies." Destiny pulled back, grinning. "I'm so happy for you." Taehyun clapped Jinwoo on the shoulder. "Congratulations, Hyung." "Wait." Amara looked between Destiny and Taehyun, noting their linked hands. "When did this happen?" "About 2 months ago," Destiny said, not embarrassed in the slightest. "Surprise! I'm dating your husband's bodyguard and considering moving to Seoul permanently." I know, fast, crazy. But he's amazing, Amara. And I've been thinking about relocating anyway. Howard keeps asking me to guest lecture, but I can do that remotely. Seoul has opportunities." "And me," Taehyun added with a dimpled smile. "And him," Destiny agreed, looking at him like he'd hung the moon. Amara felt tears building again, happy ones this time. "This is insane. This is life," Jinwoo said, wrapping his arm around her. "Messy, complicated, perfect life." 1 month later, London, the Tate Modern exhibition was everything Amara had dreamed of. Critics praised her vision, collectors fought over pieces, and her reputation solidified as one of the premier curators of her generation. Jinwoo kept his promise, flying to London every 2 weeks. They'd stay in the Savoy, walk along the Thames, pretend they were a normal couple expecting their first child. But the distance was harder than anticipated. "I miss you," Amara said during a video call. She was 3 months pregnant now, barely showing, but exhausted constantly. "I know we talked every day, but it's not the same." "I know, baby." Jinwoo looked tired too. "Just 2 more months, then you're home." "Actually," she hesitated. "The Tate wants to extend my contract. Another year, they're offering me a permanent position." The silence on his end was deafening. "Jinwoo? That's amazing." His voice was carefully controlled. "What did you say?" "I haven't answered yet. I wanted to talk to you first. It's your career, your decision. It's our family, our baby. I can't make this decision alone." He rubbed his face, and she saw the struggle playing across his features. "I want you to come home. Selfishly, desperately. I want you in Seoul where I can see you every day, watch your belly grow, be there for every moment, but—" He took a breath. "But this is your dream job, and I won't be the husband who holds you back. What if I want to be held back?" The words surprised her. "What if I miss Seoul, miss you, miss the life we were starting to build?" Do you? Yes, she started crying. I thought distance would give me clarity, but it just made me realize how much I love you, how much I want our family together. London is incredible, but it's not home. Come home then. Jinwoo's voice broke. Please come home. I will. I'll finish this project and come home. But Jinwoo, when I get back, we're doing this right. Real marriage, real partnership, no more secrets. No more secrets, he promised. I've already started transitioning the business, moving away from the violent side, focusing on legitimate enterprises. Seriously? Our child isn't growing up with a father who threatens people for a living. I'm done. It'll take time to fully extract myself, but I'm done. Amara's heart felt too big for her chest. I love you. I love you more. 2 weeks later. Crisis. Amara was in the gallery when the cramping started. Sharp, sudden, terrifying. She made it to the bathroom before the bleeding began. No, she gasped, fumbling for her phone. Please, no. She called Destiny first. Something's wrong, the baby. Des, there's blood. I'm calling an ambulance. Stay calm. I'm calling Jinwoo. The hospital was a blur. Doctors, tests, concerned faces. They admitted her for monitoring, and the longest hours of her life began. Jinwoo burst through the door at 3 a.m., looking like he'd sprinted from Seoul to London. How? Private jet, Taehyun handled everything. He was at her bedside immediately, grabbing her hand. The baby? They don't know yet. The cramping stopped, but... Her voice broke. Jinwoo, I can't lose this baby. You won't. We won't. But his hand was shaking. Whatever happens, we face it together. The doctor came in at dawn with test results. Mrs. Park, you had a threatened miscarriage. The bleeding has stopped and your baby's heartbeat is strong. But? Amara heard the warning. But you need complete rest. No stress, no travel. Bed rest for at least 2 weeks. And given your situation, I'd recommend staying in London until you're further along. Travel increases risk. Jinwoo's face set in determination. Then I'm staying. You can't. I'm staying. Taehyun can handle Seoul. I'm not leaving you. Your business doesn't matter. Nothing matters but you and our baby. He kissed her knuckles. I almost lost you both. I'm not risking it again. Amara's tears fell freely. Okay. Stay. Please stay. 6 weeks later, Jinwoo did stay. He rented a flat near the gallery, worked remotely, and attended every doctor's appointment. They fell into a rhythm, slow, domestic, healing. You're good at this, Amara said one evening. They were cooking together, her belly finally starting to show, his hands constantly drawn to it. At what? Being present, being a partner. He smiled. I had good motivation and good therapy. Dr. Kim had been doing video sessions with both of them. Turns out, when you actually work on your issues instead of drowning them in control, things improve. Imagine that. He spun her carefully, pulling her close. Thank you. For what? Not giving up on me, on us. I didn't deserve second chances, but you gave them anyway. We gave them to each other. She kissed him softly. You're not the only one who needed to grow. I needed to learn to trust again, to communicate instead of running. We're quite a pair. The best kind of disaster. His laugh rumbled through her. Marry me again. Amara blinked. We're already married. I know, but I want to do it right this time. No manipulation, no games. Just you and me and our love and our baby. Marry me again, Amara. You're ridiculous. Is that a yes? She looked at him, this complicated, damaged, devoted man who'd learned to love better for her. Yes, let's get married again. He kissed her until they both forgot about dinner burning on the stove. 3 months later, Seoul. They renewed their vows in a small ceremony at the gallery. Destiny served as maid of honor, Taehyun as best man. Dr. Kim attended, smiling like a proud parent. Jinwoo had written his own vows, and Amara watched him read them with shaking hands. Amara, I stand before you as a man who's made terrible mistakes. I've hurt you, manipulated you, loved you in the most broken ways. But you saw past the damage to the man I could be. You gave me chances I didn't deserve and loved me through my worst. I promise to spend our lives honoring that gift. I promise to love you freely, not possessively, to support your dreams, not control them, to be the partner and father our family deserves. You are my redemption, my purpose, my home. I love you beyond reason. Amara's vows were simpler. Jinwoo, you're an impossible man, complicated, intense, infuriating. And you're mine. You've shown me that love isn't perfect. It's messy and hard and requires constant work. But it's worth it. You're worth it. I promise to keep choosing you, keep challenging you, keep loving you always. When they kissed, the small gathering erupted in applause. Destiny wiped tears, leaning against Taehyun. I'm so happy for them. Me too. Taehyun kissed her temple. Think that'll be us someday? Asking me to marry you at my best friend's wedding renewal? Bold move. I'm not asking yet, just gauging interest. Destiny turned in his arms, smiling. Interest is high, very high. Good to know. 6 months later, Amara gave birth to a daughter, Luna Park, named for the moon because she was born at midnight, and Jinwoo claimed she shone just as bright. She's perfect, Jinwoo whispered, cradling the tiny infant like she was made of glass. Amara, look what we made. I know. Amara was exhausted, elated, overwhelmed. She's ours. Destiny and Taehyun visited within hours, Destiny immediately claiming godmother rights. She's got your nose, Destiny told Amara. And his attitude, Amara replied, watching Luna fuss in Jinwoo's arms. Look at that glare, pure Mafia boss. She'll be running Seoul by 20, Taehyun predicted. Terrifying thought, Jinwoo said, but he was beaming. 3 years later, the gallery thrived. Amara's reputation had reached global status, and she'd opened a second location in New York. Jinwoo had successfully transitioned his business to legitimate operations, real estate, tech investments, art acquisitions. The violence of his past remained there, in the past. Luna was a whirlwind of energy, bilingual chaos with her father's intensity and her mother's creativity. She kept them exhausted and grateful in equal measure. She painted the cat again, Jinwoo said, carrying their daughter into the living room. Luna was covered in paint, grinning like she'd won a prize. That's the 3rd time this month. Amara tried to look stern and failed. Luna, we talked about this. Art goes on paper, not pets. But Mochi is pretty cat. Pretty cats need pretty colors. Can't argue with that logic, Destiny said from the couch. She and Taehyun had gotten engaged 6 months ago, wedding planned for next summer. You're not helping, Amara said. Auntie Des always helps. Luna squirmed out of Jinwoo's arms and ran to Destiny. Taehyun scooped her up before she could transfer paint to expensive upholstery. How about we clean you up first, little artist? Uncle Tae is smart. As Taehyun carried Luna to the bathroom, Jinwoo sank onto the couch beside Amara. Our life is chaos. Beautiful chaos. The best kind. He pulled her close. Happy? Amara looked around their home, at Destiny chatting with Taehyun, at Luna's laughter echoing from the bathroom, at the gallery opening invitation on the coffee table, at the family photos covering the walls. She looked at Jinwoo, this man who'd learned to love better, to be better. Deliriously, she said. He kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. Good, because I'm never letting you go. I wouldn't let you, Amara replied. We're stuck with each other. Best decision I ever made. That evening, family dinner. They gathered at Jinwoo's favorite Korean restaurant, a private room where Luna could be loud and paint-streaked without judgment, the table filled with food, laughter, stories. To new beginnings, Jinwoo said, raising his glass. To family, Amara added. To love that survives the impossible, Destiny said. To us, Taehyun finished. They drank, ate, laughed. Luna fell asleep against her father's chest, and Amara watched Jinwoo's hand automatically cradle their daughter's head. Protective, gentle, changed. "What are you thinking?" he asked quietly. "That we made it. Through all the pain and mistakes and chaos, we actually made it. We did." His free hand found hers. "And I'd do it all again. The manipulation, the Marcus situation? No, never that." His expression went serious. "But the fighting for you, the growing for you, learning to love you better, that I'd do 1,000 times over." "Sap. You're sap." Destiny made gagging noises. "Y'all are disgusting. Tay, we're leaving before the cuteness kills me." "You love it," Amara said. "I really do." Destiny hugged them both. "See you tomorrow for Luna's painting class." "We'll be there." As their friends left, Jinwoo shifted Luna in his arms, settling deeper into his seat. "Ready to go home?" "In a minute." Amara leaned against his shoulder. "I'm exactly where I want to be." And she was. After all the pain, betrayal, growth, and forgiveness, she was home. Not in a place, but in this moment. With this man, this daughter, this life they'd built from broken pieces. "I love you," Jinwoo whispered. "I love you too." Luna stirred, mumbling in her sleep. "Love Daddy, love Mama, love Mochi." They laughed, careful not to wake her. Outside the restaurant, Seoul glittered in the night. Inside, a family sat together. Imperfect, complicated, beautifully theirs. Final reflection. Love wasn't supposed to look like this. Messy, hard-won, rebuilt from ashes. But Amara had learned that fairy tales lied. Real love wasn't perfect. It was choosing each other despite the flaws. It was growing together instead of apart. It was forgiving the unforgivable and building something new from the ruins. Jinwoo had been right about one thing. Their love hurt. But it also healed. And in the end, that made all the difference. To new beginnings, to second chances, to love that survives the impossible.